Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to Lynx office in Paris. I'm Stan Arok, CEO and founder of Lynx, the mixed reality company. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. I hope the setup is good this time. I have many things to share with you. So maybe you remember from the last video, if you watched it, that I said that the third week of February would be a good time to give you an update. And it's actually a very good time to share some news with you. So there are a few news on the hardware, also on the software, on some events that took place and are going to take place for us. And so you'll have a clear overview of the progress we're making. We're not going to discuss the ecosystem a lot. We're mainly going to talk about Lynx because there is a big share of news today. I will start by the hardware because deliveries and all that certainly is the main topic in the company and outside of the company when people discuss Lynx. There are some news about the production we had. Maybe you saw it for some of you already on Discord, but we are targeting our next deliveries of a few hundred headsets that this time are going directly to the Kickstarter backers, and it will be between end of March and end of April. The date is still very uncertain because there are many things we are lacking in terms of deadlines, but this is the discussion we had with our manufacturer today for this batch of devices. Between 300 and 500 devices, not clear yet. It will depend on the yield of the batch, but we have the components, we have everything. And from the first devices we built, and that came from the factory, I told you already, but we made 50 mechanical changes and also a lot of correction in material and assembly. So those first run and this ramp up enable us to make mistakes, and those mistakes are not too expensive because it's on batches that are rather small compared to where we'll be before this summer at full speed. But this next batch of 300 devices will be using something that is 99.9% on spec to what we designed. So we are confident enough to send it to end users at this point. The first batch was more for partners, some developers that want to start building content and give us feedback. We couldn't address everyone because this batch was also small, so sorry for that. I know that until we haven't delivered everyone, people will keep asking questions about that. You're absolutely right to do so, but just to let you know that the team here and me are doing the absolute best to keep on with the production. Things are shifting, but it's the life of a hardware company, especially on the first product. So we're getting a lot of maturity and experience, but from what I see and from the feedback we have, even with the first batch, it's a pretty solid run. So to give you a perspective on that. The headsets are now entering in a phase where we work a lot on maturing the software as well. So I'm going to talk a bit about the software in a few minutes. Just to finish on the hardware side of things, we're still working on the controllers. We are going to show you something that is working soon. And there is a news on the software that is directly linked to this part. On the software, things are extremely exciting for a few reasons. The first one is that because the headset is now in our hands, but also in the hands of partners and developers, we are seeing some incredible integrations taking place. And right now, our operating system is entering in a phase of maturation where before, like last year and during the Kickstarter phase and even during CES, everything that we showed people was built on Unity, and this is the only engine that we supported. We had like only one pipeline, It was very restrictive, and now we are opening up, especially with OpenXR, which I think is the best thing that happened for small companies like ours, because now that we have a runtime, an OpenXR runtime, we are seeing a lot of exciting things. The first one is now we officially support Unreal 5. We finished that last week. So we have Unity and Unreal. And a third piece of news about that is that someone, an engineer at Ultraleap, so Ultraleap is the hand tracking company that is doing the hand tracking in Lynx. One engineer there made a pull request in Godot. So now we support Unity, Unreal, and Godot, which are, I think, the three major players for engines in AR and VR. So it's extremely exciting. So another thing that is going to enable even more use cases is that we are building on the pipeline to access from Unity and other engines the frames of the camera, the sensors, and all that. So today I saw some interesting stuff from the software team where you have an application in AR or VR and you can still access the RGB, the RGB camera. So you have like you can access one camera, like one eye or both of them at the same time. It doesn't really matter, but depending on the performance you need, you will be able to access all the sensors. I talked about that a lot, but the implementation wasn't really there. But now that it's starting to mature, we're going to be able to integrate things like Euphoria. I can't give some names today, but you're going to see some cool announcements because there are a lot of programs and third-party libraries that require at least frames, and usually frames and the 6DoF pose of the headset. So for us to enable people to tap into that, it will enable a lot of new use cases that I don't think you can find that on a lot of other headsets. So I'm really excited for that. Right now we're benchmarking the performance of accessing the frame, at which frame rate, packaging, all that, so the developer does really just need to tick a box somewhere to access the frames and the buffer. But this is some really cool stuff that I'm really excited about. I think one of the first things we're going to do with that is integrating, making like a package for Euphoria, because they need like a RGB frame and the 6DoF pose. And now that we can use like the shared memory in the headset, it's going to be really cool to see that. Okay, so that was the things. I forgot something about the software. I have my notes here. Sorry. There is also some things that is going to bring a lot of value to a lot of users. Is the Volvic integration is ongoing. There are some really interesting discussions between the Volvic team and us. They have a device, they're working on it, and we're confident enough that we will showcase WebXR content with Hands and other web API working in 2 months in an event. So probably before that on YouTube or some other social media, but the Volvic team is bringing up their brother to the headset now, and they are one of our partner for the next Laval virtual event. So it's an event in France, kind of like AWE, but for Europe and maybe a bit more industrial. But you have like all the headsets players there, and this is like our next event that is taking place in two months. And we'll have the biggest booth there, like 140 square meters. We'll show a lot of partners. We're going to show a lot of stuff. And it will coincide with the time that we deliver the first headsets to Kickstarter users. So April is going to be very intense as well. And Volvic is going to be one of the partners there. So I'm really excited for this as well. So just so you, like, what you have to remember is Unity, Unreal, Godot, WebXR, access to all the sensors, all the infrastructure of the headset, access to any pair of cameras you want during runtime. You can turn it off and on and off at runtime. We're just packaging that right now. It will be a library and probably on the long run a service that is running in the background, so you can access frames from any application very easily, and we can update that for all developers at once. Yeah, so that's about it for the main news about the hardware and the software. I think also what you need to know is that Lynx as a company keeps growing. We are still doing a fundraising that is taking most of my time today. It's going extremely well compared to the first two fundraising I conducted, because now that the product is there and we can demonstrate extraordinary things on the headset and show that we are growing an ecosystem, we have more momentum. I think it took much time than what I anticipated and what maybe you guys anticipated as well. And it's frustrating for everybody, right? But we keep up with the work that we need to do to accomplish the same goal that I always had. And so far, the response is very, very positive. So you're going to hear some news, probably before the summer, that's for sure. I can't give a clear date, but we have more and more support, and I'm thanking everybody who is involved in this process for that. Okay, I'm going to not take the time to look at the chat to discuss with you if you have some questions around all that. Also, the transparent headset is quite successful in the company and outside of the company. So we are thinking about putting it back on sale for everybody to buy. It's really, really cool. We are very happy with the finish, and the performance are not impacted by the transparent headset. We're conducting tests of that as of right now. Okay, so I'm going to look at the chat now. People are saying, so Artful is saying, we want to thank Hugh, who has been really informative over the unofficial Lynx Discord. So Hugh is one of our team member here. He's on the software team, and the story is that he was a Kickstarter backer in Paris, and he was very passionate about VR and AR, and he ended up working at Lynx because he's a very good software engineer, working on things like the launcher today, and he's also very close to people on the Discord, on the unofficial Discord from Lynx. So I'm also thanking him today for the discussion he can have on the Discord. He always keeps me informed, but I didn't have much time lately to be hands-on as he can be. So yeah, thank you merci beaucoup, Hugues. Yeah. Someone is asking if Lynx is supporting hand tracking. Yeah, it does support hand tracking. It's actually our first primary input in the headset. Okay. How is Lux? Yeah, Lux is doing very well. It's part of a demo we are going to show at Laval Virtual, and it will be at this time that we finally release Lux to the wild. Yeah. When will pre-orders be delivered? So we have the next batch coming between 1 and 2 months from the factory. After this batch, the next batch will already have been started. And to give you a clear answer on that, before June, we will have delivered not only the Kickstarter users, but also everyone who pre-order a headset, as we will be at full speed on with the production line that we have with our Taiwanese partner. Okay. How performant is it as a standalone device compared to Quest 2? I would say it's a bit better than Quest 2 because I think Quest 2 they're using the XR2 chip as well, but they're underclocking it, and it's mainly for VR. Whereas as in Lynx, I would say we are doing more things, especially with the pass-through, and our hand tracking is certainly better than the Quest. So I think it's more performant than Quest 2. That's something we can say. It's a different device. It's a different price. I think we are sitting right between Quest 2 and Quest Pro in terms of features and price. So that's, if we compare ourselves to like the big guys out there. Another things I want to say about performance is that the team made an absolute great progress with the latency of the frames and the way the compositor works in the headset. The conclusion of that is that we are now, it took a few milliseconds to render a frame, and because we made so much work and optimization of the rendering in our OpenXR runtime, we divided the rendering time by 2. So in AR and VR, so you have 11 milliseconds between 2 frames, basically in the headset, because it's like 90 frames per second. And half of that time, half of those 11 milliseconds were taken by our runtime for the hand tracking, for the head tracking with 6DoF, the pass-through image to be composed with VR objects, etc. And we divided that time by almost 2, so we really optimized that, and we really have a low latency headset. And we also did a lot of work with the time warp. If I had a week, I couldn't tell you everything the team did in those last few weeks since CES, really, where we really picked up on the speed with software. Another things we're working on, and I can share my screen with you on that, is that we're modifying the way we build images of our operating system, so you can update the headset over the air. But we also worked on a system where you can plug your headset to a computer, and from a Chromium-based browser, you can access your device, the file browser. You can update it there. You can sideload APKs from there. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see a bit of that. All right. Okay. So it's on the website right now. It's not completely finished. It's toolbox.lynxr.com, and when people will receive their headset, our documentation will point people to this website. So if you're using a Chromium browser, there are like APIs you can use to access USB devices from a web interface, and we're using this capability to log into your headset from Chromium. So you don't have to download a native application. You can access that from any browser on Linux, Mac, or Windows, and you can do a lot of stuff. You can see the screen on what's on the headset. You can record session there over USB-C. So it's pretty powerful. There is an updater to prepare your device if you want to reset it or restore it to an older version. So yeah, you're going to be able to do a lot of things from there. We are going to communicate officially in a few weeks when we completely finish the tool here, but it certainly is very useful internally at Lynx. Okay. So yeah, we're working on a lot of things. It's just huge. I'm very happy with how the team executes all that. So how will the app market will work, margin and stuff. So no clear view on the margin and stuff, but there is a clear view on how we will manage the application market on the headset. So you'll be able to sideload, and there is a company that does that very well. It's SideQuest. They're working on it. SideQuest will be compatible with Lynx. I cannot give any details. And we'll have our own app store, and you can also use the headset as a PC VR for experiences that will be shared through Steam VR. Someone is asking to please send a unit to Gigo down from Virtual Desktop, as he gets new requests every week for new headsets coming to market. And I don't want to see Lynx miss his boat. Yeah, I don't want to miss it as well. And his device, as many other developers, is part of the next 300 devices, because those devices, they brought a bit of frustration to people that we send them to, because the mechanism here sometimes was blocked. We had that during the MIT Reality Hack in January. So it's part of the fixes we made, but there are a few things that made us not comfortable enough to send it really in the wild out there to people that we could not assist in real time at full capacity. How long can we expect Lynx 1 to be supported before a second come to challenge new upcoming headsets? A very long time. I mean, yeah, we're building this device also for customers that are working in industry. And like not gamers, so those people expect a very long life cycle for the device, and we're going to keep producing it for at least 18 months, and we're going to keep supporting it for even longer than that, and bring updates a lot, because this device is going to also teach us a lot on Lynx side about our second version and where we should put our focus and all of that. So this device will have a very long lifespan. How stable is the OpenXR support? I would say it's very stable now. I was a bit afraid at first, like at the end of 2022, but now it's very stable. The people working on it in Lynx have a very good knowledge of the limitations of OpenXR and what we can do within the standard, and right now I would say it's super stable. To give you an idea of how stable it is, when I'm going out there to make a demo to, I don't know, like an investor or a customer, I'm not bringing my laptop with me anymore. I'm just bringing one headset, and I'm sure it will not crash, and I will put it on the head of someone. They will be able to open apps, and it's stable, and it never crashed. So we're making some tests, and the software is robust enough for being stable. So are Sean and Tyler from Render Reality Kickstarter backers and Mixed Reality TV? Yeah, I know, and again, those headsets will only ship with the next batch, because, for example, for the case of Mixed Reality TV, I love Sebastian and his channel, but when you send a device out there, it needs to be a consumer-facing quality device. So I really want to send him what is actually going to be delivered in the box with the full packaging, and this is the next batch of devices, not the one we had here. Can we do hand tracking from the headset on PC game? It's a good question, and we're discussing that with our hand tracking partner, and there are some ways to do that, and I think it's a feature we're going to see this year. What is the size of your next ROM? I cannot give details on that, but the only detail I want to give you is that it's big. it's big enough to let us do more things with Lynx R1 to put it on the market and scale even better, and also at the same time keep working on new version on the hardware and maturing the software. So it's bigger than the last raises we conducted, but it's nothing crazy, but you know, it's going to absolutely change our life here. Will the next batch have radio certificate? I can sense that it's a question from Japan because they have very intense radio tests to conduct. I don't have that information on top of my head, but I know our partner is conducting a lot of certification and testing right now. I'll let you know about the certification on the next video. Can you please show the retail box you had at CES? Guys, there are a few guys here. Guys, can I have the packaging box of Lynx? Do you know if it's here? Oh yeah, there is one there. Yeah. Thank you. So this is what it will look like. So it's I don't know if I think there is one in there. Oh yeah, there is one in there. So it's we have our logo here. It's a very white packaging box that you can recycle, that we can recycle. The headsets will be there here, and when you take it off, it's in this position. It will be like this, and then you have a box here where you will find the VR foam with the accessories like cables, charger, and the foam. So yeah, it's pretty simple, but we like it very much, and we can recycle it. So yeah, and there is a sleeve, a paper sleeve coming around the box that is sliding out of the packaging. Very cool. Good question. Thank you. If a backers plan to develop for Lynx, should we still email you to get our headsets faster? Feel free to email me. I know I don't respond as soon as people expect, but I read everything in my email box, that's for sure. So feel free to email me if you think there is a good reason to. Does your Unity SDK ship with APIs to do hand pose gesture recognition out of the box, or is that up to me? So the Unity SDK for Lynx ships with the Ultralip SDK, and the Ultralip SDK is the hand tracking part of Lynx, and you can use this SDK to do the gesture recognition things you want. They have very good helpers in Unity, like some scripts you can put somewhere in your project that say, hey, if I have this finger open and that this finger is pointing at this virtual object, then trigger this callback function. You can do that very, very easily. There are a few helpers from their SDK in there. Okay. Will the market allow not safe for work apps? I cannot give an answer today, but I don't think there is. I mean, my answer would be, on top of my head, we would allow that, but we have to legally, depending on the region, check if we can, and if there are restrictions we need to put in place to allow that. Qualcomm Spaces SDK recently got new nice features like Lynx, like the room meshing. Can we use that with Lynx? We are working with Qualcomm. They are also part of the people that had access to Lynx devices to have actually Qualcomm Snapdragon Spaces working on Lynx devices, and that Lynx is going to be one of the few compatible headsets working with the Spaces SDK. So you should be able to do room meshing from this, but we will also provide other solutions. Our goal is to be compatible with everyone, and also to allow you to access the data you need in the headsets to do your own algorithm, or to use any kind of library you could find on the web or develop yourself. Do you plan to continue doing the travel case, or is someone else that will do it as an aftermarket option? So for now, to be very honest with you, we still want to do it, but there are other priorities still with the hardware team on the optimizing the production, the ramp up and all that. So they're pretty busy with that part. So the travel case will be much later on this year. But you remember that we put a 3D model of Lynx online on our portal website. So you can find a 3D model of Lynx, and if you want to design a travel case for yourself, you can do that as well. Yeah, so is it okay to use the Lynx R1 outside in the sun? I would say yes. We made some tests. It's working. Hand tracking is still working. 6DoF as well. And actually, I would advise you, once you receive your headset, to go and try it outside, because they will, especially if it's a sunny day, the ambient light outside is much greater than a typical indoor lighting like this. So the pass-through camera would feel even better outside than inside. Would the pass-through cameras be usable for recording stereoscopic video or 180 VR video? So the field of view of the RGB cameras, those cameras here are of 90 degrees horizontal and vertical, and 127 degrees diagonal. So it's like a huge square for each camera. So it's not a 180 degree, but you could get those frames, record them, and put them in a pipeline that you could reuse to replay them later on. This is absolutely something possible. Okay. There is a question about the shared spatial anchors. Is it going to be a feature or not? It's going to be a feature, and there are also many ways to do that. One of the ways you could do anchors is also through the Snapdragon Spaces SDK that will be compatible with Lynx. We know they have this feature in, and that Qualcomm put a lot of effort on that. Stan, give Hughes a raise. Don't worry about Hughes. He's in a very good position, like everyone working at Lynx. I think. Yeah. So yeah, that was a lot of questions. Thank you for tuning in, for watching the video. I will put some links in the description of the portal again, of the toolbox I showed you, where you'll be able to manage your device with your computer. There is a last question. Is the enterprise kit version on the store the consumer one? No, we have two versions. There's like the one that is used for your personal use. So if you're a developer or end users like a gamer or someone that is an early adopter and likes cool new tech, you should buy this one. And if you're a company or a developer that will use that in a commercial manner, you should use the enterprise edition because the licenses in it and the guarantees are not the same. That's the only difference between the devices, but it's a different price. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope I will see you next. I will see you next time. The next time I think we'll do that in a month. Let's target the third week of March for a video, as we'll have much more information for the batch that should be ongoing, and I will have a lot of things to show on Twitter, on YouTube, and all that. You are going to see a lot of cool work. So I think the next video will be the third week of March. Thank you very much. Have a good one, and see you next time. Bye.